Cheers.
All right, welcome everyone to a new episode of the Open Heart Collective. My guest is a legend. Thank you, Lou, for
Lucreative.
joining me. Is a legend. But
Thank you
right
for
now
having me on.
we're gonna get into this real conversation around mental health, right? I've been on this mission for the last 6 weeks to really dive deep into breaking the stigma around mental health because we don't talk about it often enough. And we sure as hell don't talk about it open enough. So Here we go. Let's talk about it. Lou,
Let's talk.
Tell us your story, brother.
Okay, so I mean, like, where do you want me to begin? Because, like, how far back? I've told you before, like, my story. Like,
right. Well, the people watching don't know your story, so
yeah, I mean, like, basically, like, I grew up. When you're Filipino, your life is technically destined to be a nurse. So for all the Filipino kids out here, you better stay the hell on because I don't want you to be no nurse. Now, I've always wanted to be a race car driver. The F1 there, like I just wanted that. No, that's not what you can be.
Right.
Then it's just like, man, throughout high school, I was just, just living my life, living the best life, like partying and just playing games and all that stuff. When I got out of high school, they pushed me into being a nurse. So I became a nurse for 3 years, and I just realized, oh, it's not what I want to fucking do. It's not what I want to do. And it's just weird that I became a nurse. Then I switched that. I started growing weed under the table for a company. So I wasn't growing the weed. I actually was working for $1 million person, and he was growing weed and blah, blah, blah. That fell down. Good thing I did go to school, and I became a dental assistant for that next 3 years. And in that time, I realized that I'm just really good with the camera, that I've always been a dancer, filmed myself the whole time and whatnot. And now I shoot music videos, I direct, I produce all these ideas for shows and whatnot. And I'm currently now in South Carolina shooting for Entrepreneur, which being a filmmaker now could lead people to having a career in having a camera and create videos for other people. That is a career now. Thanks to DRock, who pretty much highlighted the whole thing for everybody. That's now a career. And that's just kind of the thing now. It's just like, just living my life, exploring the hell out of things, learning, meeting people, and sharing that so that the kid that I wish that I was there for myself. So that's what I want to do for everybody else. And I'm sure you're doing the same thing. And that's what my story is.
Damn. That was the, how old are you, Lou?
I'm 27. I wish I knew this at 18.
That was 27 years in a minute and a half, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess. Was that how long it was?
So I pulled a couple of things from that I want to kind of dive deeper on because, hell, we have an hour, so why not take it? A few of those things being, when you mentioned that the Filipino culture, you're destined to almost become a nurse. You're destined. That's already set into stone. Like that's what you're going to be.
It's tattooed on your forehead. You're a nurse.
Which I think plays a lot into the mental health of it all, right? Because when I was talking to Broderick in episode 3, that was the similar topic, right? Like, I mean, around the stigma around a cultural play around mental health, right? You don't talk about it. You do this because you're supposed to do this, right?
Yeah.
So
supposed to.
How did that play in your mind? Because I mean, you feel like you're always destined to do something else other than what you're actually doing. So how does that work? How did that work for you?
Here there's three things I would say. How it worked for me, how it didn't work for me, the good and the bad. Let's start with the bad. The bad part is now that I knew that I could have been what I wanted, so fuck you, mom, fuck you, dad, excuse me, that I could have been doing what
on the show. It's all right. I do it all the time.
I've not ever heard you curse.
Really?
I've,
You haven't watched
yeah,
enough of my content.
man, I haven't been on Instagram really. I'm just posting and dipping. So, but I'm sorry, yeah. Excuse me, I should be watching. But it the bad part was I could have been what I wanted to be, and I was in a place. I was wiping ass as a CNA for elderly patients, walking them, feeding them, and changing them and showering them. I was in a place for. I was in a place that's not what I wanted to be, and never expected when I got out of high school. Good
Right.
part is it built a realization of the character that I have towards elderly people. I'm very nice. I'm a sweetheart. I'd go out my way for people.
Right.
Um, Patients only. Um, I understand that like the people that are there, like that's the rest of their life kind of thing, and like that mentality of like, are you willing to spend your life here with this amount of money? Who's the manager? How much money are they making? Why is there other people getting fired? Why are other people getting hired too much? Is there a marketing company? Are you guys on social media? Boom. Now, what is that? What, like, I even lost myself. It's just like, you know, I could have done all those things if I honestly knew what I wanted to do in life. Maybe the part where I wasn't able to become a race car driver at the age of where it was too young and not practical for a Filipino family, that in high school I didn't know what I wanted to do because I knew what I wanted to do but said no to. Then I think like the good part if someone's doing that, you should honestly just kind of figure out what you can do now,
Right.
what you're able to do now, and do that and just say fuck you mom and dad. Like there's like, here I'll give you an example. Tyler Woodall, we just
Okay.
met at Joseph Place, and he's doing a lot of interning right now,
Right.
and he actually came on the weekend to visit me, and I shared all the things that I am with him. Now he's inviting me to like meet his dad and go to with him at football. But what he wants to do is not what his dad wants him to do. And I keep telling him, bro, like, what the fuck do you want to do? Like, man, but that's what my dad would. Like, my dad's rich. My dad got money. But then do what you want to do. Why you want to build an insurance company? Who the fuck grows up as a high school student? I want to build an insurance company. Is it? It's obviously the money. You got it. Like, it's just like, and there's just so many people. Like, what do you want to? It's like, what the fuck do you want to do? Like, do that. Like, as Gary says it, but it's just crazy. Like, do that. I made so much money making music videos on a $1,200 camera that I bought.
Right.
I made 8 grand on making music videos. Like, you can turn
Right.
that 8 grand into something else.
I mean, you could
Like,
turn that 8 grand into 16, into 32. Like it just
yeah.
goes on and on.
So here's another part. I wanted to share this before anything. I just got off the Uber with a young lady, and she told me she makes soaps for a living. But I ain't got the money right now to be distributing all that. Oh my God, here we go. You could do, so it's fucking interesting. Soap cutting is a fucking trend right now. So what you could do is you can get all the money you need, make the soap, and send that out to influencers that cut soap, and just give that to them for free in exchange for letting your product be known.
Right.
Huh, interesting. Or you can make a podcast about soap. You can make a video about how to make DIY soap, and then or
Right.
make a Instagram, making, so let's just say you wanted to make a community about nonprofit organizations. So you make a whole community just of every nonprofit organization. So I told her,
Right.
make a community about soap, and on the back end in a link, you'll just have like all that soap stuff, like sell your own soap. It's just like, till this day, I wish I was like in a car and racing. But now that I'm doing all this, that's the goal still. Like, I plan to
Right.
have my own track in the back, and it's just like, I can't stand it, man. Like the fact that my mind has just been crazy and hateful towards my parents because I could have done that. And then
Right.
it's also crazy. Like, my mind is so towards like, I don't want to I don't want to be around people who are not doing what they're passionately doing. It
Right.
mentally pisses me off.
I can see that, man. Because and that all, like I said, that all goes back to mental health, right?
Yeah, it
Because
is that. Yeah,
we're in our heads too much, and we allow other people to interject their own fears into our life and how we react and how we live our life, right? Which oftentimes becomes this cyclical negative situation. Because when you're not feeling right and you're projecting that onto me, that therefore I'm going to do the same thing, and then it's going to be this vicious cycle of negativity. And
right.
that really fucking eats at a person. Like, those of you guys who have been watching this series know, like, I've been doing this, like, I'm the only entrepreneur in my family. I'm the only one that stepped outside of the, oh, hey, go get a 9-to-5 job.
It's good.
But it sucks, right? Like, this is lonely. This is painful at times because this is not easy, right? I could go lock myself into some marketing job for 40 to 50 hours a week and live a really good life, but I would hate it because, like, I'm not doing what I want to do, right? Like you, the race car driver. I always wanted to start a record label, so I did. And it's not been easy. Like, and the mental games have definitely been there. And people have definitely played with my emotions and my mental stability over the years. But over the last 2, I've been spending so much time focusing on self-awareness that nobody can take it down.
Yeah, that's very good.
And that's, I think, in the mental health conversation, that's one thing that we don't do often enough is really just.
No, it's interesting. Let's do this. You give me one. You give me one way how you work on being self-aware, and then I'll share one.
Okay, I like this.
What's one time, like slightest thing that makes you like, that's me.
Right. I take a step back. Because I'm so in the weeds of everything that I do, I oftentimes don't see how much I've accomplished. So therefore, literally once a week, I force myself to take a time to reflect.
Interesting. I don't do that at all.
Because that allows me to see how far I've come, right? Like, I could be really pissed off at the fact that my bank account sucks right now. Or I could say, all right, I've got to go out and make $1,000 this week to balance the scales. Or to get this thing, or to do that. Or I need to spend 10 more hours with my family, right? Because I'm not doing enough with them. So for me, I take that time out to intentionally reflect. But that's allowed me to get to where I am right now.
Interesting.
What about you?
In that way, that makes you more self-aware of what you've done and accomplished. In that sense of self-awareness.
But also how far I've come as a person. Because it's not just reflecting on what I've done in business, it's reflecting on what I've actually done. Right. It's me as a human being.
Okay.
Which, I mean, this video series that we're on, this is episode 7. This came out of one of those moments of reflection. Right? Because nobody is talking about this, or at least nobody's talking about it openly enough. And we're in this culture, in this ecosystem right now of hustle 24/7, be proactive, be on the offense all the time, right? This is the rhetoric we hear. But the one thing that we don't hear that often enough about is our own mental well-being.
Okay, that's really funny because I got one of my videos on YouTube got taken down, which was called Entrepreneur, and it only got taken down because a part of the video had a podcast that was on a radio show that and then it got taken down. But that episode, or that motivational video, was at 44,000 views, and it was called Entrepreneur. Are you really an entrepreneur? And that one, I highlighted a bunch of clips from Gary Vee talking about how bad entrepreneurship is, and the keynote especially when he goes, I have a lot of friends in the entrepreneurship world that killed themselves or committed suicide. So I made sure I brought that to light because that's literally fucking true. And as much as I want to say that I'm entrepreneur, I understand that I don't know yet. Now what I know is, so this is self-awareness, guys. Self-awareness is not entitling yourself. I think that's what major key is the fact that I like entrepreneurship. That's one. I like it. I do entrepreneur real things, but how far of an extent do I know that is there? So there's a gap where I can't fully say I'm an entrepreneurial person, but I have entrepreneurial things. Okay, am I an entrepreneur? Am I an entrepreneur? There's a huge gap. I could say 1%. So let me figure out that whole 100% before I even go say that I am. So to really make sure to really say you are an entrepreneur, be fucking factful that you are really what you are. And I think that's self-awareness too, because the moment you call yourself that, and then people start saying that you're not no entrepreneur, you suck. You're a broke entrepreneur.
Right.
And then you get broken off that, you weren't one.
See, this is part of my self-awareness that I've gone through over the last 2 years. I'm not an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. What is it then?
I'm a human being with entrepreneurial tendencies.
Dude, we're exactly the
right?
same.
Like,
where I'm a human being.
I'm a human first, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a human. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I just happen to work my fucking ass off towards the things that I want. Yes, sometimes that aligns with other people's visions. Sometimes that aligns with my own, because I'm an opportunist. At the core of who I am, I'm an opportunist. So tomorrow morning, if I get a phone call from XYZ agency saying, hey, close down shop, we want you, I'm going to take it if the number's right.
Interesting.
Right? Because
that's
at the end of the day,
yeah.
At the end of the day, where I'm happy and where I'm able to take care of my family is what matters most to me. But I'm not going to sell out just for a paycheck either. So there's that balance of, I want this because it allows me to do this, 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 and this. Oh yeah, I'm never going to quit anything. Like, if I were to get offered, if you guys said, hey, come run No Hook tomorrow, I'm not going to do it, right? Unless the number's right. But then you have all of these other things that number and it being right affects. But then I'm still able to do other things that I want to do.
Right.
Right. So like, I'm never stepping away from anything that I've started, but I'm just repositioning myself in what I've started.
Mm. That makes sense.
As an entrepreneur, like as that human being with entrepreneurial tendencies, like we try to label ourselves too much, I think, as human beings. Like I hate the term influencer.
I hate the word boyfriend. I swear, if anyone is watching this, do not let your woman call you a boyfriend, because you're a boy and a friend. You're not a man, and I can have other friends too, if you know what I mean.
Right.
When you have a girl, she needs to call you your man. Right. That's when you guys are together, not no boyfriend. So,
right.
Dudes, don't let that. Even with like the girls, like he's either you're his woman, his lady, or your girl. The moment you use girlfriend, it's a stupid title, and I think it's ridiculous. The word influencer is retarded. The word
salesman.
It's like, you're not just one thing. You're everything.
Right.
And I like the way you said it. I'm human.
I'm a human first, guys. Like, I think right now, so we're in all of this social media stuff, and we've met because of social media, so I'm not damning it at all. Like, I am a social media like proactive person because I know what it can do, because I've seen what it can do. Like, there have been people that that have saved me, and I have saved simply because of the communication that took place on social media. Like, we as human beings, we have the ability to connect. It's how we use that connection, and that matters. That's why I started this video series, right? We don't have these conversations often enough that we need to. So cool. I'll bring all my friends on the show, like all these people that I'm connected to through friends, through people of influence that have a story that need to be told. Like, and I don't think I ever shared this with you, but the Open Heart Collective is a narrative that has lived for several years before I started this video series.
So that's interesting. I want to hear why is it called that anyway?
So back in
So here,
2013,
let me do this. So let me do this.
did I freeze?
So open heart. Okay, here. Is it that
The Open Heart Collective.
it's not that you had surgery on your heart, right?
Correct.
You did?
But no.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't have that.
Oh,
But
okay.
where this came from was the fact that we as human beings don't open ourselves up enough and aren't as forthcoming with our own what we need, that all of a sudden now we're struggling as human beings to survive. Right? So back in 2013, my good friend
Yeah, I think the audio cut. Hello?
Can you hear me now, guys?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. Apparently my headphones died. So,
Oh.
the technology, right? Anyways, guys, the big thing that was going on, so 2013, we started this thing called the Open Heart Collective. It was this online interactive book, right? Or interactive community in which, okay, I'll go in and I'll write down my story. You would go in, you'd write your story. My guy Carter over here would go in and write his story. All of this being around my story might not directly affect you or cause a resonate in your life, but your story will affect someone else and resonate with someone else.
Very true. And I tell that to everybody.
So when I was doing episode 1 of this video series with Joel from the Empower Good podcast, like it all came flooding back. Like, this is why we're doing this. So rather than just making this a month of videos, we're going to do this as long as we can and create as many conversations, because I could do an entire 20-part video series on my story. It's not going to matter to those guys, to everybody, right? But if I have you on, and I have Tyler on, and I have Joseph on, and I have Broderick, and I have Suze, and I have all these people on who have different stories, different things to talk about, that's going to resonate with people, right? So I just kind of backdoored my way into creating a podcast. Didn't really intend for that to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it's really just a conversation that we're documenting, and this is raw. Like,
this is really raw. I'm being completely myself, and if anyone would have asked, I'm completely being myself.
And this is not like I mean, people can watch the replay, but we're having an open conversation, right? Like,
very open. It could be about anything.
So much of the world is not open when it comes to how we feel in our head.
Everything is scripted. Everything is on question. Everything is,
everything's produced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like Vaynerchuk. While we both adore him, right, and what he's done, and especially kind of because it was his community that brought us together.
Yeah.
But still, the content he creates it's got its own purpose, right? It's got its own reasoning for why, rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it. This is a video series and a podcast series that's around, let's just have a conversation about what it means to be a fucking human being.
Yeah.
And everything that goes along with it. Because I think once we get into this mindset that we can actually have an open conversation, and it's not damning when we say, yes, I'm depressed, or yes, I'm struggling with anxiety. My head doesn't feel right sometimes, but that's okay. Let's talk about it.
Man, there's one person that I really want you to have a conversation with. It's a friend of mine named Jerry. He's a 30-year-old rapper, and he suffers.
I like how you gave him a title right from the jump.
You're 30 and you're a rapper. You tell me what you think. And that's one of the people that's like when I was talking about doing the nonprofit thing to you, you
Hmm.
know, like it's only helping, it's only kind of helping him too. And it's just like there's people that think they're gonna make it, and it's not gonna happen. Like it's fucking truthful fact. Like everyone's after being the greatest rapper, and it's not gonna fucking happen. The fact that he's a 30-year-old rapper, I feel bad because he's so focused on making music that I could say this here. We don't even know if he's like we've done he's done that yet, you know? And it's just kind of like I swear if we had this converse, can you hear me? If we
Yeah.
had this conver if we had this converse this open thing and you brought him on, at first he'll be, you know, the mask side where everything is okay. But diving deep into him is a very dark mind. Like it's just when it comes to being a human, you have to understand. Yeah, you should clean your room. You should groom. That's a modern society. I know back then a lot of girls had bushy stuff, but I'm just saying now is the time. you, you have to shave. So like okay, so if you're an introvert or an extrovert, he's an introvert. So if it you have to know being self-aware that the limit that it takes you to get out to people and for you to recharge, that's exactly how you should separate your life, going out so that you meet people. I just feel like he'd be the perfect person in like when it comes to I'm okay. I know I'm going through shit, but I'm okay. When it comes to like the smaller guy, he'd be something you should really get dive in deep to because a lot of people would say like, man, yeah, he ain't gonna make it, you know, like you know what I mean, like
But who? But let's examine that real quick. Who
yeah.
are we to dictate how somebody succeeds, right?
When somebody when he okay in general when he says I don't know why no one is fucking with me. Are you fucking kidding me? There's no self-awareness. I don't know why no one fucks with me. There's a very huge reason why no one fucks with him.
Hmm.
You are not self-aware on why people don't fuck with you.
Right. But that portion alone is not going to predicate whether he succeeds or fails. That's just going to be whether he can get past his own mind to actually make it.
Okay, so let's make it to him as a rapper. You can be a self artist, or you can be like the. So this is his mentality. He told me he was gonna make $10,000 next year. Doing
Okay.
what? Exactly. That's all he said. No, I'll give you another one. He told me he was really happy that he's gonna go on tour. It was like, how are you gonna go on tour? Well, there's a company that you pay, and they'll tour you out on different parts of the city. No one
Extreme.
knows,
I
huh?
know it well.
Oh, is that fake or real?
It's fake. I mean, it's bullshit. But
So,
like,
oh man, go
I don't
ahead
know.
because
Like,
yeah.
eh,
You know, look, I don't want him to ever see this shit, but this is part of the reason why I got this tattoo.
right.
It's a lighthouse. I've been such a tugboat for him and other people.
Hmm.
I'm just now gonna be a lighthouse and shine the light, and it's up to them whether they want to crash or not.
Right.
But I still to this day, I think he like okay, if we're gonna talk about mental awareness, my mind is filled up with why aren't you doing this, bro? Like, I gave him ways to like, because I told him, bro, you should step away from music, stop buying all this equipment, and save up money and become a man, bro. You still live with your fucking parents. Yeah, no, it's just like save money. Oh no, let me just finish this mixtape real quick. It's just like, bruh. And the fact is, he's stuck on one song for the past what 4 weeks, and it's just like I'm giving all these ideas, and I think I'm just wasting my time, but I'm still being a tugboat and not the lighthouse. But it's just like my mind is so fucking crazy that I feel like he's gonna kill himself one day if I don't help him. So this is why I like this thing.
All right. Let's spend some time on that topic
Mm.
because I think that one, as a fellow tugboat, to use your vernacular, like I've been there. Like if I don't do this, they will do this. you can't hold yourself like that, bro. Like, that will destroy you. Admittedly, because I've been there. I've been that person standing outside at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, please don't jump off the ledge. But that only puts pressure on me, bro. Like, you cannot have that codependency at all. It doesn't do you any good. It just destroys you up here, because then what's going to happen? Something does happen to him because you step away to focus on yourself and what you have to do, and now all of a sudden he does do something, and you're destroyed because you're like, I could have done this, I should have done this, I, when it's not about you, right? Like, it's about him and his issue, and he needs to go and people to talk about it. But that person to talk about it and to lean on cannot be you 100% of the time. Unless you can clearly delineate what that relationship looks like.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, let's talk about it. Okay. Right? Like,
how you doing? Oh, good.
The joy of doing interviews in public. You get into this mindset, man, where like you're a lot like me, which is why we get along so well. We want to help you, right? We want to see other people succeed and make the climb, and it's worth it. Because
in a sense, it's like we feel some type of way that we're doing it already.
Right.
We can't say it's like, I can't say it's like super successful, but I've success in a lot of things where you got me here. And I just feel bad for the person who doesn't have that opportunity. No, I feel bad for the person who doesn't go after that or know.
But that's not your responsibility, bro.
Yeah. But
I mean,
I feel like if I help one person, I can help out a bunch of other people.
Right. But this is a trick I learned a long time ago.
Tell me, I need to hear it. A
long time ago. And you've probably heard it. I mean, you hang out with Tyler and Joseph. Like, these guys came from a world that I was in before. Right? These guys are in a space that I used to exist in.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be in the insurance world. Like, I know it well.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the biggest things that I was told while I was going through that was more on the financial side of it, the investment side of it. But one of the things that I learned very early on was you cannot care more about somebody's future than they do.
Okay.
Because the minute you do that, you take on all of the work.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want that.
Right. And in this case, with this friend of yours, you're taking on the mental work, maybe not the physical work, but the mental work to keep him going. He doesn't care enough about himself to step up to go to where he needs to go.
Okay, so that's a bad part.
What's that?
He doesn't care about himself enough? I'm just trying to make him care like that.
You can't. You can try, but you'll hurt yourself in the process. And I know this because I've been there.
So what? It's like, okay, like it's like breaking up with the girl. You know, you deal with it for a little bit and then you're over it. It's just, so what I actually did, I hope he doesn't watch this.
You know what? I hope he does.
Okay. Well, I deleted his number because I gave him my last tip that I ever had to tell him. And that tip was, if you want to stop making music, full songs with you in it and struggling on what to say on the second verse, why don't you go on beatstars.com? You guys should take notes. Go on beatstars.com, find a beat and a producer, get on that beat, put your hook on there, and then put it for free on BeatStars. Instead of selling it, then you can have somebody go onto your song, and they have to technically feature you on there because they actually like your verse. And you did that for free. And that's the last thing I told him, and I deleted his number.
Boom. Like, that's what you have to do. Because at that point in time, you hit this fork in the road where, like, you stop not caring, because you still care about him. You still want him to succeed. You still want him to become a better human. But you, at that point in time, relinquished your control in the circumstance.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Right? Because now if something it's going to weigh on you, and it's not pleasant. And I know that because I've been in your shoes. And I mean, let me get real with you for 1 second. Not that I haven't been thus far. So
I hate when people say that.
Once.
Uh-huh.
I was that guy that didn't want to take and shine the light on me, because when I shone the light on me, it was ugly. Right? Like, I was depressed. Dude, at my worst, I was 250 pounds.
Really?
I never smiled. Like, my smiles and photographs, and I mean, you can go back on my social media far enough, and I think you might see it. It was like this.
Oh.
I was dead inside. I smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. I was 250 pounds. I drank a bottle of bourbon a day. And I was dead inside. Because I was in an mentally abusive relationship that hurt me. And my way to break from the circumstance was to say, all right, I'm going to go get a drink, and then walk out the room. Right? Because that caused that break, even if that break was only temporary. It pulled me out of the situation. Dude, I was dying. I was in a job that I hate. I was in an office that I hated. I loved what I did because I got to help people, but I hated who I did it for, because they didn't care about me as a human being, right? Like, I was at the point where I was done. My son was, I don't think he was but a year and a half, maybe a year old. And I broke down in my kitchen. Like, I lost it. And it was at that point in time, I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm done with that internally abusive behavior, and I quit it all. Because for me, like, I'm not doing this for me at all. I'm doing this for those 2 kids and my wife and my family and this guy sitting to the right of me and you. I'm not doing this for me. By the way, my assistant Carter's over here. That's who I was talking to.
Carter?
But
What's up, man?
I'm doing this for everybody else. That's why my simple question on social media is, how can I help? Right? So many people think that I have an ulterior motive when I say that, when I truly fucking don't. Because I know at scale, if I do that often enough, I'm going to win. It's just a matter of time. And I'm patient. But going back to, like, I was dying. I was literally dying inside. I was in a dead-end job, a dead-end marriage. I was trying to be a good dad, but I was not even a good human being at that time. And I had to walk away. I crumpled cigarettes up.
This is going to be super interesting. You know what we should do? We should make a fucking ebook on just how to be a good human being.
That's kind of already mentally in process. I'm actually creating a book next year called The Human Element.
Hey, I can make that book happen for you for free, by the way.
Cool. We'll do it.
But it's not a hardcover. Just letting you know. Yeah.
Like, I'm coming out with my own book too. Right. I remember we talked.
I think it's going to just be called Clean Your Room.
I love it. But we're in this spot, man, where we can cause impact in people's lives, but we can't take the pressure on. We can't take on their lives for them.
What if they're scared to watch it? Because I know I would be if I was in that state of mind, like I was maybe, I don't know how long ago. And then I get to the topic of which it relates to me, and I don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that might be scared watching this.
Absolutely. So guess what? It's okay to be scared. I'm terrified.
Trying to teach people how not to be scared.
Like, I'm standing at the bottom of a mountain looking up, knowing that the climb is going to be arduous as fuck.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to have really big legs when you finish.
But I'm going to be when I get to that top, for me, it'll be the happiest I've ever been. Because in the meantime, I've pulled everybody else who's been standing beside me, I've pulled them up too. Like, but that's my personal mission. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't do this for me. That's why, I mean, in the vlogs lately, I have actually stepped away from doing the vlog because it's been so much about me that's not been about what I actually wanted to do. Is just have fucking conversations with people.
Yeah.
Like,
you could just only say so much about yourself.
I get tired of talking about myself. I mean, I've got cool shit that I could talk about all day long. I don't want to. Because it's not about that for me.
Yeah.
What's going on? What Carter's got going on? What everybody else has got going on?
How old is Carter, by the way?
22? 20. Yeah, he's 20. He's a young gun over here.
20. What does he want to be?
Well, I'm going to school in the fall for music business and recording arts.
What do you want to be?
What do I want to be?
What's the title?
Oh man,
Fuck titles. What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? You want to do music? Like what?
That's just general. I mean, anyway. I mean, business.
This is why he's working for me.
I know. I'm getting all my experience in now. Like, I mean, specifically, I've come up with a few examples. You know, like working with A&R sounds so awesome. Like, I love meeting artists. Getting to know them, like, you know, seeing what makes them tick. And I feel like I'm pretty good at, like keeping myself on track and managing and doing projects and like kind of taking the reins on things. And, you know, honestly, I just be content anywhere, like in the business. I'm not in it for the money or anything. It's all about the work.
And so it's about not being content with it.
Mm-hmm.
About what makes you happy. We don't, honestly.
Hold on. I can connect with somebody because that's exactly what he does. So if you want to meet that person, I'll introduce you to him because he'll teach you and tell you everything you need to know if you want to know.
Are we talking about Rowlan?
No, Jason. Jason's the fucking media guy, but he's done that with tour, like he's done that with tour buses and artists, and he's managed all the financial and he runs all the audio, he runs the whole entire structure inside the company, all the computers, whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, but it's just like it's one of those things where it's just like even the smallest conversation with random people who are doing what you want to do will make a big difference that you didn't have to experience that for yourself and you just had the experience already.
Yeah.
Right, like
absolutely.
When I started in this thing, I didn't have anybody. Like,
yeah, me either.
I knew two things when I got into the music business. The music business was fucked, and relationships change everything. That was it.
Oh, okay. So the second part was a good part. The first part is not.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the music industry is flawed. It's intrinsically messed up to its core because how it operates is a debt system, right? The music business is one of the only businesses where it's become socially accepted for an artist or a musician or a creative in that space to operate consistently on a negative balance sheet, and that's wrong.
Hey, speaking of Gary, bro, I wanna get your thoughts on this.
I love how it's encompassing so many subjects in this episode.
There's a thing where it's really interesting because I gotta watch what I say here.
Why?
Hold on, it's okay. I've noticed. I think it's an attention thing that Gary Vee's really focused on a bunch of artists right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like really in the hip hop game, only because attention.
Right.
And I just got onto who he follows. He follows like 2,000 people. And majority of them is sports and a lot of artists. And nothing but his vlogs have been with YG, Nipsey Hussle, Rowlan, this one Indian kid. Like,
right.
He's really hacking the shit out of music right now.
Right.
I want to get your thoughts on, have you noticed that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, hold on. So Rowlan did a song called One Life for a Hex watch company.
Mm-hmm.
I think he made that song for that watch company. So it's just almost like, I see where that goes. You just tell somebody, hey, make that song, and that's music influence, and they like that person, so then they'll buy the watch. Pretty much it, right?
Yeah. But honestly, bro, that's where the music space is going. It's funny.
Yeah.
So that Anik Khan, the Indian rapper that you
Oh,
were,
that's him.
yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
I recognize that one because I was listening to that podcast about 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
At minute 33 of the podcast, Gary says something to the effect of, "And man, it would be really cool if you started documenting the process of creating a song, right? In the typical like high energy Gary mode, right?" And I'm like, "You son of a bitch! I've been preaching that shit for a year or more." Because guess what? If, let's say, who is an artist you grew up like absolutely loving?
Shit. Don't put me on the spot.
Yeah,
Are you really asking? God damn! Don't put me on the spot like that. Fuck, man. I don't know. Barney.
Barney?
That's the first songs that you told me. Nah, it's it had to be shit. Linkin Park, Eminem, 50 Cent, Murphy Lee.
Right. So let's take a look at those guys, but I'm actually going to go a little bit past or a little bit earlier than that.
I'm a 90s kid. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. It's good. So what if, and I just love this record so much, so that's why I reference it, and it's hip hop culture. So let's talk about it. What if Dr. Dre had actually documented the process of recording the Chronic record?
People can learn how he did it.
You know how much more people would take ownership of that record. Henceforth, more people would be purchasing that record, and
Yeah, a
how
lot
it
more.
would be, even to this day, like relevant. Let's go even back further. What if Led Zeppelin had documented the process of recording number 4? Right, like all of the little intricate details of it. We would know so much more about those musicians. Let's look at Linkin Park. If they had documented the process of recording Hybrid Theory, you know how much more our angsty teenager self would have gotten connected to that record? Even more than we already did. Like, so let's hit Chester Bennington for a minute. When Chester Bennington died, I was dead for a day. Like, I didn't do anything. I didn't fucking leave my house. I was destroyed because I took ownership and connection to him.
Just like what happened to me and Paul Walker.
Like, that's what music and art and collaboration can do to connect us. So, like, going back,
yeah.
It's remarkable what we can do in this time and this space in this world that we live in now.
Right.
Right.
So here's an example. I'm gonna shoot for Rowlan, which is Born Hustler.
Right.
And I'm working on his treatment. So this is what I'll do, coming from your idea. I'm gonna shoot Born Hustler. I'll have a videographer film the behind the scenes, and then on my own, I'm gonna film it how I edit Born Hustler, which is gonna be crazy because Born Hustler is gonna be on Vivo because of Rowlan, and it'll be my first video on Vivo, and we're gonna get a guest appearance by Gary V and DRock.
Right.
So I think the whole editing process is just the same for the creative side of me, which you're speaking of.
Right.
So I'll do that a lot more. I'll show exactly how I edit. I'm gonna do how I edit, even with everything.
Dude, I mean, you're in the creative space that you're in, you have the optimum time, like, ability to capture that because you do it already. Usually, what the shit, right? Like, I'm not gonna show this. Like, what the fuck is the point? But now that you show it, you're gonna develop a community and a culture around you and how you create that's gonna live on. Henceforth, that's legacy, bro. It's legacy doing everything that you already do on a daily basis anyways. Just showing people. Because, like, I've taken a lot of inspiration from you just in the time that we've known each other. Like, it's not complicated. People make it complicated. Go show it. Go bleed it. Like, to quote Gary V, bleed it from your fucking eyeballs and people will pay attention. Like, it's not complicated at all. Doesn't have to be. because it's not in general. And I think if we as a culture and as a community start to talk about what we do, talk about how we're feeling during the process, all of a sudden the entrepreneurial ecosystem looks a lot different because we actually have heart, or the music industry looks different because we actually
we're on the same
communicate.
fucking boat, bro. We are in the same boat. Like, it's hard, man. It's fucking hard.
But
We're on the same boat. It's about the heart.
Right. And we know it's not easy. Like, and that's okay. But if we have it together and we're in this together and we're leaning on each other, not being the lighthouse for each other, not being the tugboat for each other, but leaning on each other, right? I give and take, you give and take, but it balances. If we can do that culturally at scale, I think we win this thing long term. Right?
It's a team thing. Yeah, it's a team thing.
Like, it's like I care so much about my team that if they don't know it, they're idiots. Like, this guy who's about ready to walk out of my office, we've only known each other about a month and a half, 2 months. I don't even remember how far back
It's been like almost 2 months.
Like, I care about this kid like he's one of my own. Like, you know what I mean? Because I want to see him succeed, just like because if he's succeeding, I'm succeeding. If you're succeeding, I'm succeeding. If my artists are succeeding, guess what? So am I.
That's how I feel about friends.
So am I. Because, again, not about me. And it's just like what you do is not about you. It just happens to include you.
It's about everybody.
Hey, it was nice talking to you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you too, bro.
But, like, I'll see you tomorrow, Carter.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Let's take advantage of this time that we've got. Let's create with the purpose of intent and impact. Let's do it from our heart. Because I don't think you cannot lose when you do it that way. It's going to suck and it's going to be painful.
Yeah. So this is like, man, it's funny how like a lot of Gary really influenced me on a bunch of stuff. Like I want people to kind of understand this because I came from a nursing side.
Right.
When you hold an elderly person's hand, it's really flabby and it's a little soft, all right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Now you look at yours. Skin is taut. You don't know what taut means, it's tight. It's very smooth. I look at my hands now, and when I'm bullshitting or when I'm not working on what I need to do, meaning not my job, I just have to do that for a while, I look at myself like if I'm in the bed and I'm laying down and I see my hands wrinkled as fuck, and I think about the shit that I'm doing now, was that fucking worth it? Was that worth not fucking doing anything? Was that worth playing Fortnite for 5 hours? Like, that, like, really, 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 like, I feel it like, oh, fuck, like, and then I just get back to work.
Right.
It's just like, you gotta understand, like, we're not gonna look like this for a while, you know? So, you do what you can, and you do it now.
Right.
ASAP.
Right. All right, Lou, we got a few more minutes left. This is the time frame where we do the shameless self-promotion.
Oh, shameless plugs?
Shameless plug time. Because at the end of the day, we are humans. We want to connect with people. We want to be able to share stories and to help create legacy. So I'm going to do one little quick thing, and then I'm going to have you tell the world where to find you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this and you've gotten this far in or listening, because this is going to be available on podcast form later, and if you are struggling, anything, do not hesitate to find me, to find Lou, to find the professional to go to talk.
Yeah, you can ask me,
right? Because and I'm available. Like, I know I'm busy. I've got a lot of things going on. I'm a husband. I get that. But I'm also a human being, and I care genuinely about other human beings. So therefore, I want you guys to be able to come to me. But if you don't want to come to me, there are resources that you guys can go to that I highly recommend that you go to talk. Some of those resources are to write "Love on Our Arms," American America's Suicide Prevention, or Foundation for Suicide Prevention, the Trevor Project. Just go to these people. These organizations are here to help, over and above what I can do, over and above what Lou can do. But so this is my plea to you guys. If you are struggling, if you don't know how to balance what's going on in here, find somebody who can help. All
I
right.
can help for sure. Like, you can find me at Lucreative, LURCATIVE _ 2 times. And like, if you had any questions, like I'll do this with anybody on live. If you had like I did this with somebody, if you had a question and it's really deep, I'll literally go IG live with you so that maybe it could help somebody else. But I'll give you everything that you want. If you needed a way to like make your Instagram grow bigger, or the organic way to do it, or you're not creative and you want to learn how to be creative, or I don't know what to do, like you want me to kick your ass for some reason, I'm down to do it.
Or you're struggling and you just want to talk. We're here for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I mean,
it doesn't
like,
have to be private or public. It can be private. Like, literally, in my Instagram profile, my fucking phone number is there. And not a phone number to Carter, who's my assistant. No, my direct phone, this fucking thing right here. You guys can actually call me.
you did actually call me. We actually went
Right.
FaceTime on my phone too. So
Right.
yeah, you can DM me, and if you have any questions, you can call me, because I had a conversation last night too, or on Sunday night actually.
Right. So we're here because this is about community and about you guys. So Lou Creative __, and that's everywhere.
That's everywhere. That's only on Instagram. I don't use Twitter.
I have Twitter, but I don't use it.
Yeah, it's just really hard. But if you are struggling on YouTube right now and you need motivation, go look up Great Ave, which is Great Avenue. It's GREAT space AVE. And Great Avenue, there's 3 motivational videos there. There's a video on how to create a name for yourself in this new era, and there's 4 videos on how to thrift it and flip it that will teach you from beginning to end how to buy and get the supplies so that you can go to thrift stores and make money and sell that on eBay. And I teach you all that on that channel.
Right. Awesome. And I'll include all the links down below. So those are a few of you who actually tuned in live. Thank you. This video will be available in the replay app directly after. This video also appear on YouTube and on my podcast on Apple Podcasts by the end of this week. So, and then Friday we have one more episode coming up with singer-songwriter, writer, and actress Rowan Bridler. Really looking forward to that as well. But right now, Lou, thank you for joining me. This is an amazing conversation. And we'll be talking more. I'm sure we've got a lot of work to do, you and I.
Yeah, we're currently honestly talking all the time. So
absolutely. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys. Thanks.